few months ago, I noticed that the slide-out awning wasn't rolling up tight. And then last week, it stopped rolling up altogether. So when we got home, I decided to take it apart. This is the spring assembly. And this is the spring assembly stabilizer.
That explains it.
It's broke on two sides. So I went to the right side, removed it, and this one's broke on all three sides. Since you can't buy these separately, I did find a picture of one online. And I decided I'd try to make one. So I bought a 2.5 by 12-inch polymer rod. I cut a puck off the end of it, not as thick as the original stabilizer, but just thick enough to lock in the spring.
The polymer rod I have is 65 millimeters in circumference, and the stabilizer I need to make, it needs to be 58 millimeters. So I need to reduce this down by 7 millimeters, and I'm going to do that by cutting off 3.5 millimeters on 8 angles. And then I want to, before I cut the angles off, I want to find my center of my 65 millimeters, which is 32.5, and I used a drill bit that's smaller than my screw, so that way my screw fits down there nice and snug, so that way I can put it on my 2x4, and I'm using a miter saw to cut off those 8 angles. Then I will need to, after I get the 8 angles cut off, 8 ankles, don't want to cut any ankles off. The 8 angles, then I will cut a groove down for the spring to come down the stabilizer, and then it will have a more shallow groove here, and that's where it will hook in to the puck there. And that way, whenever you turn it, you're able to tighten that spring and keep that tension on it, and that spring won't come out. So after I've got it secured to this 2x4 so I don't have to hold this puck while I'm cutting it, I've got this all squared off, and once I get that first cut off there, then I'll loosen this up, spin it around, do the other side, and just keep doing that to keep those all even and flush. So now that I've got all of my angles cut off, I'm going to use this drill bit to drill out for the hinge groove. Some other RVs have the awning tubes that have the like the 45s, and they'll have 3 of those. And but mine just has the Omega hinge there. So now I'm going to take a smaller drill bit that's a little bit bigger than the circumference of the spring, and this part right here, I think I might have showed you earlier, that right there, and we want that to slide down in this groove. So I'll probably make about 4 holes, and then I'll go back and clean it up with a jigsaw like I did over here. I just get this hanging over the edge and then screw it back down so it's secure and cut that out.
After I drilled a hole in the middle so it could slide over the rod, I got the spring nice and snug in there. I'll put a cap on the end. And then I just slide it into the tube. And I'll make another one for the right-hand side. And do the same thing. Line these holes up. Put 3 pop rivets in.